Go Flavi, hit go.
Hello, hi, I'm Flavi. I'm with the head coach Rufus Spiller from TK Academy, Jiu-Jitsu Academy. And he just came back from a competition, and I thought we can make a little podcast, video podcast, vodcast to talk about some different trainings. And I will let Rufus introduce himself and talk a little bit more about himself first.
Hi, so I'm my name is Rufus Spiller. I'm a purple belt under Dave Coles in a team called Equipe TCA, which is based out of the UK, but we train here at Pretoria in Devon. And we do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and submission grappling. And yeah, I mean, I train here with Flavi. I see him training for professional fights all the time. I compete quite a lot on the European Jiu-Jitsu scene. I'm just back from European Masters, where I took gold at M3. And earlier in the year, I won the European Nogi in my bracket as well. So, you know, we do quite a bit of talking together about competition mindset, and we both kind of got passion about mental coaching and how you use mental coaching. So we thought we'd have a chat.
Yeah, that's why I said, because before my fight, we talk about the mental training before the fight, and after my fight, it was your competition that we talk about again about the results of my mental training, and now we talked again about the same thing. And
yeah, I mean, I think what we always come back to is that, you know, fighting it in any sense, you know, if you're kickboxing, if you're doing boxing, if you're doing jiu-jitsu, if you're doing judo, you know, any sort of sport where you're doing fighting, that you have to overcome a lot of mental obstacles, and that's true in any sport where you do it at a high level. But part of the preparation isn't just physical. Obviously, you have to do a lot of physical preparation, and some of that can lead into your mental preparation, understanding that you're ready and all the rest. But there also is a mental component to any part of training. So I work with a sports psychologist. I know Flavi's done some work with sports psychologists in the past, and I'll work with them before my competitions to try and work through some of the things that are going through my head at any given time. I know you're the same. So.
Yeah, and what I want you to explain a little bit about how the importance of the mental training. What tricks? I cannot say tricks, but what tools you use for the mental training, like visualization or. So
I'd say the first thing, the major thing, is I do try and meditate. So especially when I'm like with any competition, with any high level fight, you're gonna be afraid. You're gonna be scared, and that's okay. That's part of
one
competing.
of the subject that I wanted to point out here, the fear before the competition.
Yeah. I mean, it's always there. You're always gonna have a little bit of fear, and that's fine. That's fine. But if you can use meditation, so just kind of like feeling the ground underneath you, breathing to 10, you know, kind of like just getting yourself back in the moment, because sometimes your mind can race ahead to the thing. Now, that racing ahead to the thing can be used. You can use it as visualization. So visualization is a tool where, you know, I'll sit down and I'll try and work my way through what's going to happen on the day of the competition. So it might, you know, I was telling Flavi earlier that one of the things I do is I'll get dressed up in my kimono and everything, and I'll look at myself so I know what I'm going to look like. I'll never leave anything to chance like that. And then I start trying to visualize myself in the hall, what the sound of the crowd is going to be like. Smells and tastes can be really, really important. But try and visualize exactly what it's going to be like in front of the crowd, and what the sound of the bell is going to be like. You know, I try not to think about what my opponent's going to look like. One of the problems with that is that you can start imposing this monster onto this person, and they're never that. They're just as scared as you. So you have to kind of like almost think about, okay, what am I going to be like? What am I going to be feeling? And how am I going to use that positively to perform? Yeah,
that's true. That's as you said. At my last competition, in the fight before the competition to start, I went in the ring and I started pretending fighting the opponent, how I'm going to use my techniques, my strategy in the ring, and putting myself already in the fight. And when the fight started, it felt familiar, like I was already there. It wasn't something new.
I mean, one of the things I work with my sports psychologist, I should mention it, Andrada. She's awesome, and one of the things she gets me to do is to kind of get into the space before I'm going to fight, and kind of say to myself, you know, that this is a safe place and that I can perform well here. I kind of use that as a little mantra to kind of like say, okay, well, you know, there's nothing to be scared of here, that I'm here to perform, I'm here to kind of like express myself, because fighting is that, it's an expression of who you are, and to kind of like bring that performance out by trying to relax and you know, understanding that like the space is a safe space to be in. I think that can be a really important component, is understanding how, you know, that a ring can be a safe space. It doesn't have to be like this. You know, it's not
gladiator
like
rings, like the lions will come and kill us.
Exactly. I mean, like if you lose, sure, you know, you might lose, but
it's only a result.
They're not gonna release the lions afterwards. You're not gonna be dragged into a pit, and yeah, that's gonna be the end of
or
you. You know?
At the end of the fight, if you lose, all the people will, you know,
thumbs down.
Thumbs down,
and you're gone.
You're done.
No, I mean, and that's the kind of thing which will go through your head. I mean, that's the important thing to try and rationalize and work with. Is okay, that stuff isn't going to happen. And if I was to go back for a younger me, you know, I'm probably, I don't know, about, I think I'm at 80 amateur fights now, and so I remember my first few fights. I honestly thought that's what was going to happen. I honestly thought that, like, you know, someone would start laughing, you know, when I lost and that kind of stuff. And it took me a long time to kind of like get over that, kind of like, okay, win or lose, I'm still going to walk out there. I'm still going to be me, and I can still go. Yeah, and I can still go to training on Monday and improve on what I learned in the ring.
Yeah, that's true. What I saw and what people told me, you don't have fear before you go in the ring. I said, yes, you feel the fear, but that's the fun of this sport. That's the you know, the thing that drags you even further, you know, drags you to do it even more, to overcome that fear before you enter the competition. You know it's not real. It's all in our head.
100%. And like Flavius says, it's exactly like that. It's like, that's the thing which drags you back every single time. Every single time you're going to come back to kind of like competition fighting. It's the rush. It's like, you know, you're so scared. It all gets built up in your head, and then you do it, and like you finish, and it just feels amazing. It's just the best thing ever. And like, I don't know anyone who doesn't like the feeling after a competition. I mean, obviously, you know, after a competition, you can eat what you want, you can drink what you want, you can pretty much celebrate anyway. But the feeling after competing, just, you know, win or lose, you always feel good. You always feel good.
Yeah, that you overcome that fear that you know, imagined it will be like. Your opponent will have 3 hands and 4 legs, and you know, and
yeah,
you see it's not true. It's not, you know, it's a man like you.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you know, you go and shake hands after the fight, and you realize like that person's just like you. Just there's no, you know, everyone's the same, you know.
And how you use your mental training in the physical training?
Whenever I prepare a lot. And what I try and do is I try and ensure that when I'm doing my training in the gym, especially when I'm sparring, I try and kind of like go through sequences that I want to try and replicate in competition. I try and control my breathing and control my physical, you know, how much output I'm doing, but also I try and keep myself calm. If ever I kind of like feel like I'm not in control of my mental state, then I'll kind of back myself off and kind of like try and breathe. In English, we would say I'll have a word with myself. Like I try and kind of like back myself off, calm myself down, and go back and try and work out, you know, why I was getting frustrated, and not, you know, the important thing is to understand that, yeah, you're going to be frustrated, but you've got to treat your training partners with respect, and you can't kind of lose your temper and kind of like really lose it, you know. Try and kind of understand, okay, why am I losing my temper? Why, you know, what's not working? And use that mental training to just kind of like step back and not try and rise above those things which are gonna kind of, you know, it's gonna get on top of you. You know, training's hard if you're doing it right. It's hard.
And many times you don't feel like training. Like I today in the morning I didn't feel like training, but I know I have a competition over 2 weeks, and I know I have to train. And after the training, I felt energized. I felt good. I was tired before the training, and after the training I was all energized and all ready for today.
I'll tell you, one of the tricks I do use is I have certain kind of exercise routines and things like this that I write down, and what I do is I like to have a list that I can tick off, and it's a little mental trick because I like ticking things off and at the end of the day knowing that I've done that checklist. And it doesn't have to be a lot of things. I can say, okay, you know, if there's a specific move that I want to work on, or if there's a specific area that I feel that strength-wise I'm not quite right, so like flexibility. It only takes 10 minutes to do like a little flexibility routine, but then you can tick it off on your list, and then you know you've ticked it off, and you can feel good about that all day. Like I've done one thing off my list of things that I wanted to do.
You achieved something today.
Yeah, little achievements can make a big difference. You know, if you can, you know, use that kind of mental structure in your training, it can make you feel really, really good about yourself. You know, and it doesn't have to be massive things. You know, you don't have to, you know, beat your personal best lifting every single day. You know, you can just say, okay, today I just want to get to the gym. Or today I just want to do 50 sit-ups. Today I want to do 20 push-ups. You know, and that's enough. That's an achievement.
Yeah.
You know.
As you said, with the little achievement, a story came into my mind. A commander of Navy SEALs said this. Start your day doing your bed. Make your bed.
Yeah.
And even if you have an awful day, you still came home to
a made bed.
And you will have, you know, you achieved something in that day.
It's true. Like little things like, you know, remind yourself to drink 2 liters of water. You know, something as simple as that, or go to bed at 10:30.
And gives you momentum, like
exactly. You know, you do that for a week and you go, do you know what, that was pretty easy, let's add something onto that, or you know, and all those things can help in all of your training. You know, if you know that you're kind of like slowly building on something, it'll all help.
Cool. So to wrap it up, mental training, I think it's the most important part in every area of our life, not only
absolutely.
In sports. From the morning until the end of the day. It's.
I mean, before we finished, one of the things Flavius said to me earlier was like, you know, what about mental training? You know, what about the mental state when you know you aren't training yet and you just want to step into a gym? And I to go back to that idea of fear, I think it's really important to understand that like everyone's got that fear, but like if you can just take that one step over the threshold into a gym and start training, it feels like a black box, but really it's not. You know, training can be one of the best things that ever do in your life. I started training when I was 36. You know, I'd done some training in the past, but I started competitively at 36. I'm 40 now, and like competing and training, it's honestly it's one of the best things that I do in my life. You know, and I, you know, all it took was me just to step over that threshold and go into a gym and kind of do that first lesson. And once I had that first lesson under my belt, it wasn't scary anymore. I knew what was going to happen. Every time I walked through another gym, I knew what was going to happen. And so it makes a big difference to your life if you can just break those little cycles of fear.
Yeah, well done. You said it well, and I cannot, say it better. You know, just step forward and, see what happens. You don't get destroyed or eaten by lions here.
No one gets eaten by lions here.
Yeah, because I think most of the people are scared about this thing. Like they go into something sports and they think they're going to be, murder. I don't know why is this kind of mentality, but it's safe. That's why you are coached to make the training safe for the people and for them to learn, to achieve and to overcome their fears.
It really is. It's the greatest thing when someone steps through the door and you can see they're not sure, and then like 2-3 classes in, they're really getting into it. All of a sudden, they really understand kind of like what it means to kind of like actually just get over that fear and start sparring and all the rest, and just chipping away at that little bit of fear every day will make your life better.
Cool. Well done. Thank you, Rufus, for the for the little interview. We will make some podcast
for sure, for
some
sure.
podcast to talk about more areas of the sports, and how everything we do in sports we can use it in real life.
Yeah, for sure.
So thank you, and see you again next time.
Thanks, guys.
Peace out.